you might not have as much success as you would have if you'd really taken the time to pick out the exact bait. I'm also going to talk about swim baits in the grass. That's something that here in Florida is starting to take off. I know the guys all over the country for the last few years have been catching a lot of fish on swim baits. I'm throwing weedless swim baits down here. The skinny dippers, I'm throwing the Berkeley hollow bellies, I'm throwing some custom stuff out of California. But the main key to all these swim baits is throwing the weedless ones. That's important because you throw things with big treble hooks down here in Florida, you're going to get hydrilla all over it, you're going to get your grass stuck all in it, you're just not going to be effective. So let's go into first, probably my favorite one that I've actually won quite a bit of money on the last couple of years is this little bad boy right here, is the Reaction Innovation. This would be in the frog category or toad category, however you want to write it down. This is the Reaction Innovation Shark. And I don't talk about this bait much. I really don't. I've never done a seminar on it. I just kind of keep it quiet. And of course, when we're talking tournament stuff, when we're at the shop and everybody's getting ready and they're like, hey, Scott, what are they biting on? Hey, they're biting on frogs. That's all I tell them. Because again, there's like 15 different kind of frogs you can buy, right? And they're going over there and they're buying this one and that one. And I'm watching them and they might not pick this one up. And I'm thinking, yeah, all right, good deal. But I actually won this bait right here, this exact color. It's called California 420. And they're not one of my sponsors, guys. I mean, I used a lot of different types of frogs out there, but this one right here is bad to the bone. And it's California 420 is the color. And one of the cool things about this bait, it's kind of a hybrid. I mean, it looks sort of like a swim bait. It's got a little fin on the back. That's why they call it the shark. It's got a little trough here that your hook can go in. But it has two tails here, or legs, that have the V cut in them, which give that bait a really unique sound. And when you talk about frogs and you talk about different types of frogs out there, you've noticed that you've bought them, like the Stanley Ribbits, which I have one tied on, here has the boot tails. You know what I'm talking about? The little legs, the boot tails. And then you have like the horny toads. Here's the Stanley one here. It has the little boot legs on it. That's a different type of frog. I consider that a different category, okay? That one there has boot legs on it. And then this Reaction Innovation has the cuts in it. And the other baits that have cuts in it too are the Zoom Horny Toad and some other baits out there. But this sound that this bait makes is what I consider the buzzing type sound. It makes a higher pitched, you've heard it guys, when you throw that frog out there and you reel it across the surface and you're reeling it. Again, you're constantly moving this thing. This isn't a hopping it like a toad or a frog. You're throwing it out there long cast and you're reeling it on the surface. And these legs, they get to moving, and it's like a little buzz bait. They're making a high-pitched gurgling noise, throwing water in there like a little rooster tail. Looks like a little Ranger boat going 70 miles an hour across the water. It's just kicking up a bunch of stuff. And that noise that it makes is, again, a high-pitched noise versus, you take a Stanley Ribbit, for example, which is more of a compression sound. If you've reeled those baits along the surface, they're not throwing water necessarily like this buzzing action. The legs are going down and grabbing the water, and they're actually making concussion sounds and kind of like a gurgling noise, which is a different, so there's times that these fish want those two different types of sounds. But this bait here makes that high-pitched buzz noise. And what I do is I get back in the grass, especially in some of the spawning areas. This time of the year, these fish are going to start migrating back to the harder bottoms. They're going to start migrating back behind the outside edge of these grass lines. And they're going to start getting in those sandy, hard bottom areas where there's a lot of open, areas for these fish to spawn. That's the key thing. When you get into these areas, look around, and you're not going to throw this thing over a solid mat of hydrilla. If you got a solid mat of hydrilla that's just, there's 0 holes in it, it's just matted up hydrilla all as far as you can see, don't throw this. Throw a spro frog. Throw something that you can slow down and pop.
Bass U, folks. Information is pouring over. If you want to learn more about every lake, how to fish, shallow, deep, in between, skipping docks and rocks and cranking, slow wiggling, chatter, smattering, you get it at Bass U. Get on Bass U TV, check it out, sign up, be a member, be part of it, folks. Keep learning.